Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Think about the most confident person you know. Maybe they walk into a room and instantly command attention. Maybe they speak with certainty, never second-guessing themselves. But here's the truth. They weren't always like that. Confidence isn't a magical trait reserved for a lucky few. It's a skill, a muscle that you develop through deliberate action, mindset shifts, and daily habits. Most people believe they need to feel confident before they take action. But in reality, it's the opposite. Action creates confidence. The more you step out of your comfort zone, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable. Confidence is built not by avoiding fear, but by facing it. Unfortunately, many people struggle with self-doubt, hesitation, and fear of failure. They think, if only I had more confidence, I'd go after my dreams. But here's the secret. You don't wait for confidence, you build it. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I break down the steps that will help you build unstoppable confidence. Whether you feel stuck, uncertain, or just want to level up, this guide will give you the tools to transform yourself into the most confident version of you. Let's dive in. Number 1, do something different. Most people want more confidence, yet they keep living the same way, making the same choices, and expecting something to change. But confidence is built through action, by stepping into the unknown, trying new things, and proving to yourself that you are capable. If you keep repeating the same behaviors, how can you expect to grow? The truth is, if you want a different result, you must take different actions. One of the biggest confidence killers is stagnation. The longer you stay in your comfort zone, the weaker your belief in yourself becomes. When you avoid challenges, your mind starts reinforcing the idea that you're not capable of handling them. But when you push yourself, even in small ways, you begin to rewire your brain for confidence. Every time you do something new, you send a powerful message to yourself. I can handle this. I can grow. I am capable. A powerful way to break free from stagnation is to implement the 90-day confidence challenge, a commitment to doing one new thing every single day for the next 90 days. It doesn't have to be extreme. Even small changes create massive growth over time. Start with simple things. Read a new book, take a different route to work, start a conversation with a stranger, or try a new workout. The goal is to expose yourself to new experiences and prove to yourself that you can handle them. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that confidence comes before action. It doesn't. Confidence comes as a result of action. Think about learning to drive a car. At first, it's terrifying. Your hands grip the steering wheel tightly, your heart races, and your mind overthinks every turn. But after practice, driving becomes second nature. The fear disappears. Why? Because you took action despite the fear. Confidence is built the same way, through repeated exposure to new situations. If you've ever felt stuck, it's not because you lack confidence, it's because you've been playing too small for too long. Your brain is wired for comfort, but comfort does not create confidence. Growth happens at the edge of discomfort. The moment you challenge yourself, even in the smallest way, you start to reprogram your mind to embrace uncertainty rather than fear it. A great way to start is by making a confidence bucket list, a list of small challenges that push you outside your comfort zone. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting, reaching out to a mentor, or committing to a new fitness routine. The more you expose yourself to new experiences, the stronger your confidence muscle becomes. Confidence is a habit, not a personality trait. And that habit is built through daily, intentional action. So today, challenge yourself to do something different, because the only way to build unstoppable confidence is to stop living the same way. Number 2, work harder on yourself than on your job. Most people believe that working harder at their job is the key to success. They put in long hours, take on extra tasks, and wait for promotions, thinking that effort alone will bring them confidence and financial security. But here's the truth. Hard work alone does not lead to success or confidence. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. The real key is working harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you don't focus on your personal growth, you will always feel stuck, no matter how much effort you put into your work. Think about the most successful and confident people. They don't just work hard at their jobs. They invest in their skills, mindset, and personal value. They understand that opportunities and income don't come from effort alone, but from becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts success. If you are not where you want to be in life, it's not because of your job, your boss, or the economy. It's because of who you are right now. The good news, you can change that. Confidence grows when you develop yourself in 4 key areas: mindset, skills, health, and communication. Your thoughts create your reality, so you must train your mind to focus on possibilities instead of doubts. Confident people don't wait for the perfect moment. They take control of their thinking and rewire their mindset for success. Reading books on personal growth, journaling, and practicing gratitude are simple but powerful ways to reshape your beliefs about yourself. Another major factor in confidence is skill building. The more skills you develop, the more valuable you become in the marketplace. Whether it's leadership, communication, problem solving, negotiation, or financial literacy, every new skill you master increases your confidence and ability to create opportunities. The reason many people lack confidence is that they haven't developed the abilities that make them feel capable. The more you invest in learning, the more unstoppable you become. Your physical and emotional health also play a crucial role in how confident you feel. If you neglect your body, your energy levels drop, your posture weakens, and your self-image suffers. Exercise, good nutrition, and sleep are not just about looking good. They directly impact how strong and capable you feel. Taking care of your health is one of the fastest ways to boost confidence, because when you feel good physically, you automatically feel more in control. Communication is another area where confidence is built. Many people struggle with self-doubt because they fear social interactions, speaking up, or asserting themselves. But confidence grows when you know how to express yourself clearly. Improving your body language, practicing public speaking, and engaging in more conversations will train you to be comfortable in any situation. The more you practice, the less anxious you'll feel. And soon you'll command attention naturally. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for the right time to start working on themselves. They say, I'll invest in myself when I have more time, more money, or when things are easier. But that time never comes. If you don't start now, you never will. The truth is, your life will only improve when you improve. The more valuable you become, the more opportunities will open up. And success will feel effortless because you will attract it instead of chasing it. So today, ask yourself, are you working harder on your job, or are you working harder on yourself? The moment you decide to invest in you, your confidence, your skills, your growth, that's the moment your entire life changes. Number 3, success is something you attract. Success is not to be pursued. It is to be attracted by the person you become. Most people spend their entire lives chasing success. They run after money, opportunities, recognition, and external achievements, thinking that once they have those things, they will finally feel confident. But confidence doesn't come from chasing. It comes from becoming. The truth is, success is not something you run after. It is something you attract by developing yourself into the kind of person who deserves it. When you focus on growth, mindset, and self-improvement, success naturally follows. Think about the most confident and successful people you know. They don't beg for opportunities or desperately try to prove themselves. Instead, they have a quiet, unshakable certainty in their abilities. And because of that, people gravitate toward them. They radiate confidence not because they are lucky or naturally gifted, but because they have spent years working on themselves. They have built skills, sharpened their thinking, and developed habits that make them valuable. As a result, success and opportunities come to them effortlessly. The problem is that most people try to change their external circumstances without first changing their internal world. They believe that if they just land a better job, get more money, or receive validation from others, they will feel more confident. But it never works that way. External success is always a reflection of internal growth. If you don't change who you are, nothing else will change in the long run. This is why personal development is the foundation of true confidence. When you become more, you attract more. If you want more success, don't chase it. Focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts it. Instead of saying, "I want to be rich," ask yourself, "How do I become the kind of person who deserves wealth?" Instead of saying, "I want to be respected," ask, "How do I become the kind of person others respect?" The answers to these questions will lead you to the habits, skills, and mindset shifts you need to develop. The first step is to upgrade your mindset. Most people operate with a scarcity mentality. They believe there are limited opportunities, that success is reserved for a lucky few, and that they are at the mercy of external conditions. Confident and successful people, on the other hand, have an abundance mindset. They believe that opportunities are everywhere, that there is more than enough success to go around, and that their growth is entirely in their hands. This shift in thinking alone can change the way you approach life. The second step is to develop high-value skills. The market rewards value, and the more valuable you become, the more success you will attract. Focus on mastering skills that make you stand out. Communication, leadership, sales, strategic thinking, or financial intelligence. The more skilled you become, the less you will need to chase success, because success will start chasing you. The third step is to build a strong personal identity. Many people struggle with confidence because deep down they don't believe they are worthy of success. They say they want more, but their internal self-image is still stuck in limitation and doubt. To change this, you must rewire how you see yourself. Start affirming a strong, confident identity. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to be successful," say, "I am the kind of person who creates success." Instead of thinking, "I'm not confident yet," start saying, "I am becoming a confident person every day." The words you speak and the thoughts you repeat shape your reality. Finally, understand that confidence comes from taking action. You don't become confident by sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the perfect moment. You become confident by stepping into uncertainty, taking risks, and proving to yourself that you can handle anything. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you reinforce the belief that you are capable. The world does not reward people who sit around hoping for things to change. It rewards those who take charge, develop themselves, and create value. Success and confidence are not given. They are earned by becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts them. So stop chasing success and start working on yourself. Because once you do, success will start chasing you. Number 4. The power of choice. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. Confidence is not a talent or a personality trait. It is a choice. Every single day, you make choices that either build your confidence or destroy it. Most people don't realize this, but the way you think, speak, and act is shaping your confidence right now. If you choose hesitation, self-doubt, and avoidance, your confidence weakens. If you choose action, courage, and self-belief, your confidence grows. Every decision you make, big or small, either reinforces the person you are today or helps you become the person you want to be. The problem is that most people don't consciously make choices. They let life happen to them. They react instead of respond, follow the same patterns, and allow fear to dictate their decisions. They say things like, "I'm just not a confident person," as if confidence is something you either have or don't. But here's the truth. Confidence is not something you are, it's something you do. You build it through the daily choices you make. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is taking ownership of your decisions. Most people blame external factors for their lack of confidence. They say, I'm not confident because I wasn't raised that way, or I don't have the right personality for it. But confidence isn't something you inherit. It's something you build, and it starts the moment you decide to take control of your life. Think about any area where you lack confidence. Maybe it's speaking up in meetings, taking risks in your career, or putting yourself out there in relationships. Now ask yourself, what choices am I making that keep me stuck? Maybe you choose to stay quiet instead of expressing your thoughts. Maybe you choose comfort over growth. Maybe you choose to listen to your fears instead of pushing past them. The first step in building confidence is realizing that you are in control. You are not a victim of your circumstances. Every time you face a decision, you have two choices. The choice that keeps you safe, or the choice that makes you stronger. When you choose safety, you avoid discomfort, stay in your comfort zone, and reinforce your fears. When you choose strength, you embrace discomfort, take action despite fear, and reinforce your confidence. The difference between confident and unconfident people is simple. Confident people consistently choose growth, even when it's uncomfortable. Imagine you have two voices in your head. One voice is fear, telling you to play it safe, stay quiet, and avoid risk. The other voice is confidence, telling you to take action, speak up, and go after what you want. Every decision you make is a vote for one of those voices. The more you listen to fear, the louder it gets. The more you listen to confidence, the stronger it becomes. This is why small daily choices matter. Many people think confidence comes from big, life-changing moments, but in reality, it is built through tiny, consistent actions. Saying yes to a new opportunity, introducing yourself to someone new, waking up early to work on a goal. These small decisions create momentum. Over time, they add up and transform how you see yourself. To start making confidence-building choices, ask yourself, what would the most confident version of me do in this situation? Then do exactly that. The more you act like the person you want to become, the faster you will actually become that person. Confidence is not built by waiting. It is built by making a decision and taking action. At any moment, you can choose to think differently, act differently, and move in a new direction. Confidence doesn't come from hoping things will change. It comes from choosing to change. Right now, you have a choice. Will you continue living the way you always have, or will you start making choices that push you toward confidence and success? The moment you take control of your choices, your life will never be the same. Number 5. Design your own life. Most people live their lives by default, not by design. They follow the expectations set by society, their family, their peers, or their circumstances. They take the safe route, settle into routines they never consciously chose, and wake up years later wondering why they feel unfulfilled and lacking confidence. But the truth is, if you don't actively create the life you want, someone else will dictate it for you. And when you live according to someone else's blueprint, confidence is impossible because deep down, you know you are not being true to yourself. Confidence comes from knowing who you are and owning your choices. It comes from having a vision for your life and taking steps toward it, no matter how small. Without a clear direction, you will constantly doubt yourself because you are not connected to a deeper purpose. Think about the most confident people. They don't let society define them, they define themselves. They know what they want, and they go after it with certainty. They don't waste time worrying about what others think, because they are too focused on building the life they truly desire. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they have to follow the traditional path to success. They believe they must go to school, get a job, work for decades, and hope for a comfortable retirement. But who made that rule? Who decided that this is the only way to live? Confidence comes when you realize that you have the power to create your own path. The moment you stop blindly following what society tells you and start designing a life that aligns with your true desires, you will feel an instant shift in confidence. The first step to designing your life is to define your own version of success. Too many people chase things they don't actually want: money, fame, status, because they think it will bring them confidence and fulfillment. But confidence doesn't come from external achievements. It comes from living in alignment with your own values and goals. Take a moment to ask yourself, if I had no fear, no limitations, and no external pressures. What would my ideal life look like? Be specific. Where would you live? What kind of work would you do? What kind of people would you surround yourself with? How would you spend your time? The clearer you are about what you want, the easier it becomes to make decisions that move you in that direction. The second step is to start making decisions based on your vision, not your fears. Most people let fear run their lives. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and situations that keep them stuck because they are afraid of uncertainty. But confidence is built when you trust yourself enough to make bold choices. When you stop asking, what will people think? And start asking, does this align with the life I want to create? You take back control. The third step is to take action. No matter how small, you don't need to have everything figured out to start moving toward the life you want. Confidence is built in motion. If you want to switch careers, start by learning new skills. If you want to improve your health, take the first step by changing one habit. If you want to travel more, start planning a trip today. The key is to stop waiting for the perfect moment, because it will never come. You must take control now. Finally, understand that designing your life is an ongoing process. You don't have to get it right the first time. You will evolve, your goals will change, and that's okay. The most important thing is that you are making conscious choices instead of drifting through life. The difference between people who feel lost and those who radiate confidence is simple. Confident people know they are in control of their lives. They don't let fear or societal expectations dictate their path. They create, adjust, and take action. The question is, are you designing your own life, or are you living someone else's plan? The moment you start making decisions based on your vision, your confidence will skyrocket, and success will follow naturally. Number 6, income is tied to personal growth. Your income is determined by your philosophy, not by the economy. Most people believe that their income is controlled by external factors, whether it's the economy, their company, or their boss. They assume that if they work harder, put in more hours, and follow the traditional path, their financial situation will improve. But the truth is, your income is a direct reflection of your personal growth. If you want to earn more, you must first become more. Money is not something you chase. It is something you attract by the person you become. Think about two people working in the same company. One is stuck in the same position for years, struggling to make ends meet, while the other keeps getting promotions, raises, and better opportunities. What's the difference? It's not luck or favoritism. It's personal value. The second person has invested in developing skills, improving their mindset, and increasing their worth in the marketplace. They don't just do what's required, they become irreplaceable. When you focus on personal growth, you naturally increase your ability to earn more, because the marketplace rewards those who bring the most value. The problem is that most people stop learning after school. They assume that once they get a job, their education is over. But the world is constantly changing, and those who don't evolve with it are left behind. The most confident and successful people understand that learning never stops. They actively seek knowledge, develop new skills, and stay ahead of the game. They read books, attend seminars, take online courses, and surround themselves with people who challenge them to grow. The more they invest in themselves, the more opportunities they create. One of the most powerful ways to increase your income and confidence is to develop high-income skills. These are skills that make you valuable in any industry: communication, leadership, sales, problem-solving, negotiation, and financial intelligence. The more of these skills you develop, the less dependent you become on a single job, employer, or economy. You gain control over your financial future because you have something valuable to offer. The reason most people struggle financially is that they never take the time to develop skills that increase their earning potential. They rely on a paycheck instead of focusing on becoming the kind of person who can create wealth. Another key to financial confidence is shifting from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. This doesn't mean you have to start a business, but you must start thinking like someone who creates opportunities instead of waiting for them. Employees think, I hope I get a raise. Entrepreneurs think, how can I make myself so valuable that people willingly pay me more? This shift in thinking puts you in control. You no longer wait for someone to recognize your worth, you create it. One of the biggest myths about money is that it is scarce. Many people believe there is only a limited amount of wealth, and that success is reserved for a select few. But in reality, money flows to those who provide value. The more you learn, the more you grow, the more you develop yourself, the more opportunities you create for income to forge you. The secret to financial success is not about chasing money, but about becoming the kind of person who attracts it. If you want to increase your income, start by increasing your knowledge. Read books on wealth building, personal development, and business strategy. Take courses on leadership, marketing, or any skill that makes you more valuable. Learn about investing, financial literacy, and how money works. The more financially intelligent you become, the more confident you will feel in your ability to create wealth. Most importantly, understand that your income is not limited by external circumstances. It is only limited by your personal growth. If you are not earning what you want, it's not because of the economy or your job, it's because of the value you are currently bringing. And the best part, you have complete control over this. You can start learning today. You can start developing skills today. You can start becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts higher income, greater opportunities, and unstoppable confidence. Your financial situation is a reflection of your habits, mindset, and skills. If you want to change your income, change yourself. The moment you take responsibility for your personal growth, your confidence will skyrocket, your opportunities will multiply, and money will become a natural byproduct of the person you've become. Number 7. Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living. Profits make you a fortune. Most people are trapped in a cycle of earning just enough to survive. They work hard at their jobs, waiting for the next paycheck, hoping for a raise, and believing that financial security comes from working more hours. But the truth is, wages will never create true wealth or confidence. Profits will. The difference between struggling financially and thriving comes down to one simple concept: earning through wages versus earning through profits. If you only rely on wages, you will always trade time for money. But when you shift your mindset toward generating profits, you take control of your financial future. Think about it. Wages are limited by your employer, your hours, and your position. Even if you are the hardest worker in the company, there is a ceiling to how much you can earn. Your employer determines your salary, and your time is finite. On the other hand, profits are unlimited. When you create something valuable, invest in assets, or build a business, your income is no longer tied to the hours you work. You start making money even when you're not actively working. This is why the wealthiest and most confident people in the world don't just work for wages, they create profits. One of the biggest shifts in financial confidence happens when you realize that you don't have to depend on a paycheck. The moment you create an income stream that isn't tied to your employer, your confidence soars because you are no longer at the mercy of a boss, a company, or an economy. You know that you have the skills, knowledge, and ability to generate wealth on your own terms. That kind of self-reliance builds unshakable confidence. The path to financial independence begins with learning how to create profits. You don't have to quit your job or take massive risks, but you do need to start thinking differently. Instead of asking, how can I earn more wages? Start asking, how can I create value that generates profit? The answer lies in developing high-income skills, starting a side business, investing, or building assets that work for you. One of the best ways to start is by developing a skill that people are willing to pay for. In today's world, the internet has made it easier than ever to turn knowledge into income. Whether it's freelancing, consulting, coaching, e-commerce, or content creation. There are countless ways to create value and earn profits. The key is to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an entrepreneur. Employees think about job security. Entrepreneurs think about financial freedom. Employees wait for a paycheck. Entrepreneurs create income. Another powerful way to generate profits is investing. Most people spend their entire lives working for money, but the wealthiest people make money work for them. When you invest in assets, stocks, real estate, businesses, you create sources of income that don't require your constant effort. The more you invest, the more confident you feel because you know your financial future is not dependent on a job. The reason most people never take this step is fear. They believe that starting a business or investing is risky. But what they don't realize is that depending entirely on wages is the riskiest move of all. You have no control over your job, your industry, or the economy. The only way to truly take control of your financial future is to create income streams that you own. If you want to build confidence, you need to develop financial independence. And financial independence doesn't come from a paycheck. It comes from learning how to generate profits. Start small. Find a skill. Start a side hustle. Make your first investment. The moment you stop relying on wages alone, you will feel a shift in confidence. You will no longer live in fear of losing a job because you know how to create income on your own terms. True confidence comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you have the ability to create financial security. You are not limited by wages, time, or an employer. You control your future. And once you master the art of creating profits, you will never look at money or confidence the same way again. Number 8. The importance of learning and growth. Confidence is built through competence, and competence is built through learning. The more you know, the more certain you feel in your abilities, decisions, and actions. On the other hand, self-doubt and insecurity often stem from a lack of knowledge and preparation. If you've ever hesitated to speak up in a meeting, felt nervous about making a financial decision, or avoided stepping into leadership, chances are it wasn't because you lacked talent, it was because you lacked knowledge. The solution: never stop learning. Most people believe that education ends after school, but the most successful and confident individuals understand that learning is a lifelong process. They don't wait for opportunities to come to them. They prepare themselves so that when opportunities arise, they are ready. The biggest mistake people make is assuming that their current level of knowledge is enough. They stop reading, stop learning new skills, and settle into routines that keep them stagnant. But confidence doesn't come from staying the same. It comes from growth. Think about any time in your life when you felt truly confident. Maybe it was when you mastered a new skill, gave a presentation after extensive preparation, or solved a problem because you had the right knowledge. Confidence is a direct result of knowing what you're doing. The less you know, the more hesitant you feel. This is why successful people make learning a daily habit. They understand that the world is constantly evolving, and the only way to stay ahead is to keep growing. One of the simplest ways to build confidence is by reading every day. Jim Rohn often said, "Miss a meal if you have to, but never miss a day of reading." Books allow you to absorb decades of experience, wisdom, and strategies from some of the most brilliant minds in history. Whether it's personal development, finance, business, health, or communication, the knowledge you gain from books gives you an edge. If you commit to reading just 30 minutes a day within a year, you will have consumed the equivalent of dozens of books' knowledge that will separate you from the average person and elevate your confidence. Beyond books, another powerful way to grow is learning from mentors. A mentor can be someone you know personally, or it can be someone you learn from through their content, speeches, or online courses. Instead of spending years figuring things out on your own, you can shortcut your success by learning from those who have already achieved what you want. The fastest way to build confidence is to surround yourself with people who challenge and inspire you to grow. Another often overlooked aspect of confidence is learning through experience. Many people make the mistake of thinking they need to feel ready before they take action. But real growth comes from doing. You don't become confident in public speaking by reading about it. You become confident by speaking You don't build leadership skills by watching videos. You build them by leading. The more you expose yourself to challenges, the more your confidence grows. One of the best strategies for continuous growth is the 1% improvement rule. Instead of trying to make massive changes overnight, focus on improving by just 1% every day. Read one page, take one lesson, apply one new skill. Over time, these small improvements compound. And before you know it, you have transformed yourself into a confident, knowledgeable person. The key is consistency. Growth doesn't happen in a day, but if you commit to learning daily, you will become unstoppable. The reality is, if you are not learning, you are falling behind. The world is changing faster than ever, and those who fail to adapt will always feel uncertain. But those who commit to constant learning will always feel prepared, capable, and confident. Knowledge eliminates fear. The more you know, the less you doubt yourself. If you want to build unshakable confidence, make learning a lifelong habit. Read books, seek mentors, take courses, and most importantly, apply what you learn. The more you grow, the more unstoppable you become. Number 9, surround yourself with the right people. Confidence is not just built from within. It is heavily influenced by the people around you. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you constantly surround yourself with people who doubt you, criticize you, or drain your energy, your confidence will suffer. On the other hand, if you are around people who encourage you, challenge you to grow, and believe in your potential, your confidence will naturally rise. The truth is, your environment shapes your mindset, and your mindset determines your level of confidence. Most people never take control of their social circle. They keep the same friends they've had for years, even if those friends are negative, unmotivated, or toxic. They allow coworkers, family members, or acquaintances to influence their thinking without questioning whether those influences are actually helping them grow. But if you want to develop unstoppable confidence, you must be ruthless about who you allow into your life. Not everyone deserves access to your mind, your energy, or your time. Think about the most confident, successful people in any industry. They don't waste time with people who complain, make excuses, or bring negative energy. They carefully choose their circle to include people who push them forward, not hold them back. If you spend time with confident, ambitious, and growth-minded individuals, their mindset will rub off on you. Their energy, habits, and perspectives will elevate your own. But if you constantly expose yourself to negativity, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs, those same patterns will seep into your mind. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with confidence is social conditioning. From an early age, we are influenced by the people around us: parents, teachers, friends, and society. If those influences taught you to play small, avoid risks, or fear failure, those beliefs can stay with you for life. But here's the secret. You can reprogram your mind by changing who you spend time with. When you surround yourself with people who think bigger, take action, and refuse to settle, your mindset shifts. Suddenly, you start seeing new possibilities. You start believing in yourself at a deeper level. You start taking actions you once hesitated on. The first step in reshaping your social circle is doing a relationship audit. Take a serious look at the people in your life and ask yourself, are they helping me grow or keeping me stuck? If someone constantly doubts you, discourages your ambitions, or fills your mind with negativity, they are hurting your confidence. You don't have to cut them off completely, but you must limit your exposure to them. Protect your mind like you would protect your most valuable asset, because it is. The second step is actively seeking out people who elevate you. Don't wait for the right people to magically appear. Go find them. Attend events, join masterminds, network with ambitious individuals, follow successful mentors, and connect with people who inspire you. The internet has made it easier than ever to surround yourself with powerful influences. If you don't have the right people in your immediate environment, listen to their content, read their books, watch their videos, let their mindset reshape yours. A major part of confidence is who you allow to speak into your life. If you constantly hear voices of doubt, criticism, or limitation, those messages will take root. But if you hear encouragement, wisdom, and belief in your potential, those messages will shape your self-image. You must take full control over what influences your mind, because what you allow in will determine what you put out into the world. Another key factor is accountability. When you are surrounded by people who expect greatness from you, you naturally rise to that level. If everyone around you is striving for excellence, pushing themselves to grow, and taking bold action, you will be inspired to do the same. Confidence comes from knowing that you are supported and challenged to be your best self. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. You can continue spending time with people who drain your energy and limit your growth, or you can actively build a circle that fuels your confidence and success. The fastest way to transform your mindset and confidence is to upgrade the people you spend time with. Because in the end, your environment will either make you or break you. Choose wisely. Number 10. Handling failure and setbacks. One of the biggest obstacles to confidence is fear of failure. Most people avoid taking risks, speaking up, or trying new things because they're afraid of failing. They assume that confident people never fail, that they always succeed on their first attempt. But this is the biggest lie about confidence. In reality, failure is not the opposite of confidence. It is the foundation of it. Every confident person you admire has failed more times than they can count. The difference is that they don't let failure stop them. They use it to grow, learn, and become stronger. Most people fear failure because they were conditioned to believe it is something shameful. In school, making mistakes was punished. In society, failure is often seen as embarrassment. But the truth is, failure is the greatest teacher in life. Every setback, mistake, and rejection contains a lesson that can make you better. If you avoid failure, you also avoid growth. And if you avoid growth, you will never develop real confidence. Confidence doesn't come from never failing. It comes from knowing that no matter how many times you fail, you will get back up. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall hundreds of times, but they never stop trying. They don't sit down and say, maybe walking just isn't for me. No, they keep going. And eventually, they succeed. But as adults, we lose this mindset. The moment we fail, we start doubting ourselves. We say things like, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I should quit. But failure is not a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you are learning and growing. The difference between confident people and everyone else is how they respond to failure. Most people take failure personally. They see it as proof that they are not good enough. Confident people, on the other hand, see failure as feedback. They don't ask, why did this happen to me? Instead, they ask, what can I learn from this? They understand that every failure contains a lesson that will make them better the next time. This is the key to resilience. The ability to keep going no matter how many times you fall. One of the most powerful strategies for handling failure is the fail-forward strategy. This means that instead of letting failure discourage you, you use it as a stepping stone. Every time something doesn't go as planned, you analyze it, take the lesson, and move forward stronger than before. The only true failure is giving up. As long as you keep going, every mistake becomes part of your success story. Another way to reframe failure is to see it as part of the process. No one gets everything right the first time. Every successful person has gone through countless failures before achieving greatness. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he founded. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Imagine if they had let those failures define them. They didn't, because they understood that failure is just a chapter, not the whole story. Confidence grows when you realize that failure doesn't define you, your response to it does. If you allow failure to crush you, you will always struggle with self-doubt. But if you use failure as fuel, your confidence will become unshakable. The best way to build resilience is to put yourself in situations where failure is possible. Take risks. Try things you're not sure you can do. Push your limits. Every time you face failure and keep going, you build a layer of confidence that can't be shaken. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for confidence before they take action. But confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. You don't need confidence to start. You build confidence by starting. The more you take action despite fear, the more you realize that failure is never as bad as it seems. And the more you bounce back from failure, the more unstoppable you become. At the end of the day, confidence is not about never falling. It's about knowing that no matter how many times you fall, you will always rise. Failure is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your success. The only way to build unstoppable confidence is to embrace failure, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Because once you realize that nothing can break you, you become truly unstoppable. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build. One decision, one action, and one habit at a time. It is not reserved for a select few. It is not based on luck, genetics, or personality. Confidence is simply the result of consistently making choices that strengthen your belief in yourself. Every chapter in this journey has shown you that confidence is not about avoiding fear, failure, or discomfort. It is about embracing them, learning from them, and growing through them. If there is one thing you take away from this, let it be this. You are in control. You control your growth, your learning, your mindset, and your actions. You do not need permission to become more confident. You do not need perfect circumstances. You do not need to wait for the right time. The time is now. The only way to build confidence is to start taking action today. Confidence is built when you do something different. Push past your fears and step into the unknown. It grows when you work harder on yourself than you do on your job. When you realize that success is something you attract, not something you chase. And when you take full responsibility for your choices. It strengthens when you design your own life, instead of living by default. When you understand that your income is directly tied to your personal growth. And when you shift from wages to profits. Confidence becomes unshakable when you commit to lifelong learning, when you surround yourself with the right people, and most importantly, when you learn to handle failure and setbacks with resilience. You now have the blueprint for building unstoppable confidence. But reading this alone will not change your life. Applying it will. The real transformation happens when you take what you have learned and put it into action. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start. So here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, take one small action every day that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Speak up in a meeting. Try something new. Invest in learning a new skill. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Step into situations where failure is possible. Watch how, little by little, your confidence starts to rise. Confidence is not built in a single day, but it is built every day. And the more you push yourself, the more you will realize that nothing can stop you. You are stronger than you think, more capable than you realize, and closer to success than you imagine. The only thing standing between you and unshakable confidence is the decision to start. So start today. Because once you commit to building unstoppable confidence, nothing in this world can hold you back.